Thanks for tuning in to our webinar today, both myself and my partner, Simeon.
Hello, fam.
We are so excited to be sitting with the two gentlemen with us today, Mr. Hunter Milborne. Thanks for joining us. President of Milborne Realty, as well as Maurice Wager, President of Collecdev. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
As you guys know, we're going to be talking a little bit about Tretti Condos, the new condo project here by 401 in Wilson. But before we get into the building, I thought it would be a good idea if we have a little high-level discussion about the condo market, as well as more about Collecdev with yourself, Maurice. And then Simeon, if you don't mind, you're gonna let our listeners and our viewers know about the incentives that we're gonna be offering to our purchasers today.
Yeah, I think it's very important we go over a few of those very important things that makes every investment unique. And I think you're gonna do a really good job as telling them why we thought this was such an important why it can be such an important piece of our client's portfolio.
So important that we had to call the Dean of Condos, Hunter, as well as the President of the development.
Yes, absolutely.
That it was that important. And thanks so much again, guys. Hunter, you've been in the condo industry and development in the city for such a long time. What's some changes you've seen in the marketplace of recent?
I think in the early years in the business, really there was not as much demand as there was supply, and so it was really a much bigger effort to market and sell properties, no matter how good the location was or how good the sponsorship was. But today, because of the basic statistics of supply and demand, the fundamental net in-migration to the city of Toronto every year, both domestic and foreign, we're really in a situation that it's an undersupplied market. And when you couple that with the fact that over 40% of all the new development in the last 10 years has been within 500 meters of a subway stop, it just emphasizes how important those subway locations are.
You made mention about the population growth. I mean, we have approximately, the last numbers I saw from Immigration Canada are above now 125,000 people coming into the Greater Toronto Area year over year for the next 10 years. And so we hear it a lot, right? When someone's driving down the DVP or the Gardner and they see the cranes, like who's going to be buying these condos? But as we all know, that's probably not the right question to ask.
A couple years too late, pal.
Right, it's who's bought these condos, because the construction financing won't even come into place for a developer unless you're close to 80% sold.
Yeah.
To yourself, Maurice, let's talk about Collecdev. For some of our listeners or viewers who haven't seen or heard of Collecdev, I really want to talk about its origin as well as how it's so unique, because it definitely is in its design and innovation.
Yeah, I think that the very fact that we are a new name in the industry gave us an opportunity to start using what we believe are best practices today. Notwithstanding being a new name as Collecdev, we are really a subsidiary of Shiplake Properties, Shiplake having had a 60-year history in the GTA residential market and family-owned and operated 3 generations. We take the inherent responsibility that we have as city builders and applying it to communities that will be real legacies for us and for the communities within which we are building.
What excited you about this area, 401 in Wilson, a minute drive away from Yorkdale?
Yeah, it's an incredible access location. We're on the Allen Road on the 401. We're on the Wilson subway station, so you're on a TTC subway line. And it really was a sort of forgotten subway station in many regards, right? It's one of the areas in the core of the city that didn't have the type of pressures that a lot of other subway stops had, which you speak to. So that to us was, first of all, a tremendous opportunity.
For me, what attracted me to this development, and I remember the conversation a month ago when we started looking into it and everything else, I had a phone call with Mr. Milborne, and we were kind of looking at what makes a great product for, in this case, we're speaking mostly to investors. This isn't a 2 or 3 tower, 500 units in each one to kind of development. It's 13 stories, 350 units. Mm-hmm. So this isn't a big, large development. This is a development that's going to attract people who want to live. So they're going to have access to Wilson subway station, which will take them downtown in 15 to 20 minutes. They're literally a 2-minute subway right away from Yorkdale.
Arriving at Yorkdale Station.
Which is world-class shopping for the entire Greater Toronto area.
Right.
Maybe one of the nicest malls in the country.
For sure.
You have the airport 10 minutes to the west, the 404 10 minutes to the east, the highway system, all access. Like, again, like when we're pinpointing why would I want to invest in a specific building, there is legitimately not many reasons or things you could find that's on the cons list.
Well,
It's centrally located in the core.
if you look at a map of the Greater Toronto area,
Smack dab.
smack dab
in the middle.
right? And to get a development and be able to invest in a place that's less than 50 meters to the subway, again, you'll win no matter what as an investor or an end user. And Hunter, I know you started downtown Toronto because that's kind of where the condo boom started. But are you starting to see the same thing where values have risen outside of the downtown core?
One of the senior economists of one of the biggest banks, Benjamin Tall from CIBC, he's closing most of his speeches now. If you think it's expensive now, just wait. Right. Because he is an economist and he really understands that supply and demand equation. But I think the points we're discussing, the access, the sponsorship, those are the key points for a buyer. To want to they want to know that they're buying with somebody with credibility and reliability that's going to deliver, and that you can be in the middle of the city on a map and have it difficult to get to somewhere too. But it's another thing to be in the middle and have all these easy access points to go to York, to go to Yorkdale, to go downtown to U of T. It's really a very, very strategic location.
Who would be some of our tenants? What would they be looking for in terms of sizes, either a one bedroom plus den, or 2-bedroom? Who fits that mold?
This is a development that is actually pro-family, pro-living.
Yeah.
Like living the way you're supposed to live, not in a box, stuck inside. What do I do with my kid tonight?
Yeah.
Where do I put my dog? It's freezing outside. There's some features here that I would just love to hear from the developers why you thought it was important and why I, for example, I'm so excited about it.
We're doing, I'll call it, a lot of the conventional green initiatives, such as an improved cladding system and green roofs, and within the suites, our heating and cooling systems have ERVs, so energy recovery ventilators and those type of initiatives. But above and beyond, and probably one of the most important elements of Tretti, is the fact that all heating and cooling to those heat pumps within the suites is going to be powered by a geothermal system. And so that geothermal system is essentially, boreholes that are like 4 inches in diameter, about 600 or 800 feet deep. And it just creates this giant loop underground. And just below our service level, we do this horizontal loop tie it all together, bring it into a heat exchanger. What that does is, number one, it reduces our carbon footprint by about 70% from a conventional system, which is huge. The actual energy consumption from this type of system is about 40% less than conventional boilers and cooling tower. And not having that cooling tower for your AC is also reducing over 50 million gallons of water consumption per year. So that does, that does a number of things. First of all, we know we're doing the responsible thing in terms of how we're designing.
So the investor who does buy this, you don't think he's going to know that he owns a piece of something that's good for generations to come?
And so
above and beyond just the money, like you can't just look at the one thing.
Sure.
This does empower people to change.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to become the change. And if we're so fortunate, I think in 20 years from now, this is not going to be something to sing praise to Maurice for. It'll be, thank you for leading the way.
It's one of the many elements, as you saw, our entire marketing campaign is focused around Scandinavian style living. And this is the type of technology that's used throughout. And it's a function of, built form. It's a function of environmental stewardship, I'll call it. So there's a tremendous amount of outdoor space in this building. We have over 85,000 square feet of green open space, landscaped open space. Part of it is going to be a public park, which we're building, and it'll be ready for occupancy. Part of it is privately owned, publicly accessible space. And beyond that, I think that there's a big social sustainability aspect, right? And to me, social sustainability is thinking about how the end user is going to feel in the space and how that space is really being designed for who's coming in, for addressing, like, listen, this is a microcosm within the bigger GTA housing issue that we're discussing, but it's the right approach. What we did with the building is, instead of building a conventional floor plate, we actually reduced the width. And so all of our units are very wide and shallow. So while we maintain all of the components of a conventional 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, we're doing it in a way that's just better designed for living. So the majority of our product is 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Bedrooms are split. They're both on the glass, no internal bedroom stuff. 2 bathrooms are back to back, so there's efficiencies in the way we design it for plumbing stacks to be shared, but really it's about how the space is used. And that's the driver for us, is thinking about who is going to be coming to Wilson and how our building is going to be really the catalyst for what we know is going to be a tremendous amount of growth in the area, which we haven't gotten into at all.
And talking about the growth of the area, what is happening around the area here?
One of the largest, I think it's probably the largest land sale ever, was the Downsview Airport, which was concluded to a pension fund group. I think it was $830 million was the purchase price. And I'm sure there's going to be some residential there, but it's largely employment land. So I think that what you're going to end up with there is a lot of employment, which is really going to be a very good thing for the city and for the neighborhood.
Yeah, and they're mandating a lot of changes around that subway corridor, the Downsview subway. I know we're at Wilson Heights, we're at the subway here, but literally the next stop over, which is Downsview, they're actually mandating how much zoning and density. They're really trying to get a density push there. So they want to see some new office towers. They want to see specific milestones hit in a specific time, which is going to grow housing, and the demand for housing there is going to be obviously very high.
I always like to ask, Maurice, I hope I don't put you on the spot, but how did you come up with the name Tretti? And I pronounce it Tretti, is that right?
I like saying Tretti also.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page.
And although it sounds Italian, it's not.
Okay.
It's actually, the municipal address is 30 Tippett Road.
Yes.
30 in Norwegian is Tretti.
Ah, okay.
So it's that simple.
The combination of a 60-year, 3-generation track record with a new and innovative company is a very unique collaboration. Like, normally you get one or you get the other. You don't get both, right? So I think that's very important. And number two is what we're talking about in terms of the geothermal, because it's more capital cost up front, so it's less margin for the developer, but it's really the right thing to do. And what's going to happen is that 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, when someone looks at buying a resale and they compare building 30 with building 20, and building 20 has much higher maintenance fees, building 30 is going to have a higher price, because there's only so much dollars to go around in terms of the carrying costs. And at every dollar that's used up in maintenance is a dollar less available for a mortgage or a down payment.
Simeon, can you quickly touch on the incentives that are being offered to our viewers and listeners?
Absolutely. So again, to close this off, I think this is a AAA site. From a location standpoint, I think we have everything we could possibly want, being literally meters from the subway. The incentives that we were able to negotiate, and this is obviously exclusive to our REC insiders, and we strive to bring you these opportunities first. The ability to lease the condominium during its occupancy period.
Yeah.
So fast forward a couple of years, there's that gray period where the developer still owns the land. Yeah. It's substantially finished and you need to take possession. We turn what's arguably the worst time to own a condo, where you typically cannot rent it because it's not yours.
Yeah.
And you're putting money out of pocket, to the highest cash flowing period of your condominium investment. Meaning you're going to get market rent and you're only paying interest only during the occupancy period. So you're going to have the ability to do that. We were able to get caps on development charges, as many of our people know, because we bring you the latest news at all times. The development charges in Toronto have doubled or more in the last 3 years alone.
I'm sure Maurice has felt that.
We're not going to get into it, but development charges have doubled, and they're going to continue to escalate as we grow. Your cap. So the agreement that you signed today is going to have a cap of $10,000 in development charges for 1 bedrooms, $12,000 for 2 bedrooms. You're going to have the ability to assign your unit at close to it's around $1,000, I believe, and this is something that typically costs anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000.
Yep.
So we were able to reduce the fees and the legal fees to that,
which is very important because, as most of our insiders know, it was essentially put into place an assignment clause in case financial hardship.
Life changes.
Life changes, things happen. But as a lot of investors know, they were able to take advantage of the passive appreciation and actually flip it for profit, right? And so that you can obviously, the assignment clause.
It gives you the option to do that as well. We always strongly recommend obviously we're buy and hold proponents.
Yeah.
But having the ability to assign is a luxury that you can use to your own prerogative as an investor. So above and beyond that, we obviously have first pricing. We have an extended deposit structure, which makes this a very easy move to make. It's not so capital intensive. So by all means, please get back to us right away. We'll get you the full package.
But most importantly, my 2 favorite incentives.
Which are?
The fact that REC will rent out the unit for you for 2 years at no cost, as well as manage the unit. So we take on all that headache, so to speak, and making this a full turnkey investment.
As always, no matter what property you broker through our services, you're always going to get the turnkey service.
Yeah.
But in this case, you were able to double that from the 1 year to the 2 year because of the faith that we have in the location and the ease of getting it leased. So
it's just something that we're not really concerned about because we know that we'll be able to take care of it because there's going to be an influx of people wanting to live here.
Amazing.
Gentlemen, I know how busy you guys are. Thank you so much for your time, Hunter.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Maurice,
Absolutely.
Simeon, thank you so much, guys.